Well, hello everyone. Here I am out on my little deck with the flag, and right now I've bought a few things and we're trying to work out how we can attach these little pots long pots I should say, that I bought up on top of this railing. We want to put some up this end and want to be able to plant a few things in it. My husband is come up with an idea because we kind of thought that they might lean forward a bit. So let's see if we can get this done and work it out. And I'll show you what it looks like a little bit later. Bye. Hello guys, thought I'd show you what I'd be doing here at the moment. I'd show you our little patio, and I had this little tiny cupboard that I found that was quite thin, and I have put a little a little trough, a gardening trough on top, and because we don't have a lot of space, I just thought I'd plant some herbs in this little garden box right here. The first one I've planted right here is just a silver thyme, and what I thought I might do is just tell you what I use these for. I'm very big into herbs. When we had our farm back in Australia, I had a huge herb pot. It was like a big garden bed full of my herbs, and it was just so nice to come out and pick some fresh when I was doing my cooking. Now what I love to do with my thyme, and if you want to try some of these, they're divine. If you like mushrooms, I know that some people don't, so I get some little tiny, well not tiny, but like button sized mushrooms. I put them in a pan with just a little tiny bit of olive oil to start with, not very much, and just kind of start softening them up. And then what I do is I get a really nice sized dob of organic butter, and I put it in, and then I put some thyme leaves. It is just divine. The flavour is beautiful, and I have that sometimes just on toast, or I might have it as in a cup of, like with steak or something else. So that's the first one I planted. Okay, the next one I'm going to plant right here is parsley. It's my Italian parsley. I like the Italian parsley better than the curly leaf parsley. I hope my boss doesn't see this, but at work I would just pick a piece and chew on it. It's good for your breath, great, full of vitamin C. It's one of the best herbs for vitamin C, and I just love chewing on it. I do that all the time, and so I got the Italian parsley more than the curly leaf parsley. So let me just put that in. I've just been potting these up, so just make a little dent. Now I'm not going to let these get so big because I'll be using them anyway. So when I had my other one back in Australia, it was a huge, and they'd get really big. But these ones I'm just going to keep them more tiny and just use them and pick them when I need them and use them when I need them. So that's my Italian parsley right there. So my parsley, I might put them on salads, or I just put them in potato salad or something like that. So that's that one. The next one I'm going to plant, and the reason why I actually use this one quite a lot is just the original sage. And what I actually use the sage for is I actually use it for gargling, and when I've got a sore throat, so I just put some in a cup with hot water, and I use it as a gargling for a sore throat. So that's why I like keeping sage on hand, and especially since everything's going on with a crisis over here, I try to drink a little bit of this all the time. I love just the original sage, and I love the silvery leaves of it. And so also it goes perfect with any pork dishes. So sometimes I just might make a crumb pork steak, and I might put it on top of when I cook a few leaves of my sage. So there's my sage. I'll just plant that one up in here. Now normally I would leave a little bit more space between them, but like I said, we're limited space here, and these will get used anyway, so I'll be picking the leaves regularly off of these. So I'm just kind of scooping some dirt up. I'm trying to be a bit careful with this potting mix. I have had some problems with some potting mix lately, so I've been wearing a mask and wearing my gloves and just being really careful. So that's my sage, and I'll just put the little, even though I know what it is, I'll just keep the little tag and put it at the back if anyone comes to visit me. I have to say that this one is probably one of my most favourite herbs. Okay, is your coriander. Now, I love Thai dishes a lot, and so I use coriander quite a bit, and I even just like crushing it in my hands and smelling it and just chewing on that as well. So in Australia we actually call it cilantro, but I guess you can have it coriander or cilantro. So I love this little plant. There's quite a few in there. I could probably separate them if I need to, but I'm just going to keep it for one bunch. So let's plant up our cilantro right here. I've got a little bucket down here with some soil in it. And I'm planting up some of my cilantro right here. I don't try to push down too much, I just kind of give it a bit of pressure down there just to kind of keep it in. So what did I do with my cilantro? No, yep, right there is my cilantro, my coriander little tag. At my work we are using these little ones lately, if you can see. Now, why I put that on this little box, and I was a bit worried because you can see the railings right here. Like I've told you before, we have a lot of wind coming from this direction, so I wanted to keep it down a bit, and I thought the herbs are pretty strong and hardy, so they would last a lot better than anything else that I could plant in here. So the last one that I'm going to plant in my little herb planter box is oregano, or oregano, wherever you live. So here's my oregano, or oregano. So I use the Italian one because I really like the Italian one, and I use that in a lot of tomato dishes, spaghetti sauces. You know, sometimes I have it with meat, but it goes best with a lot of you know, tomato dishes. So that's my little oregano. So this is going to be the last one in the garden box, but it wasn't the last one that I bought. So let me plant this one up on the end. Get some more soil. Now I've kind of got to be a bit careful because we live on a second floor story, and I have neighbours down below, and I get a bit worried about spilling things on their patio. So trying to be a bit careful here. I'm just going to put this around here, kind of push it in a little bit. And what did I do with my tag with him? Oh, there he is on the end. So that's my little vegetable garden that I've planted this year up here. But that's not the only one. So if I can kind of turn it a little bit here, turn yours here. I showed you in the corner over here that I had my clematis or clematis and just some trailing vines. But I had a space in the back over here. And this is where I'm going to put my last herb, my rosemary. So I had a whole hedge of rosemary when I lived in Australia. I just loved it. I had a whole hedge because I just love the smell of it. It gets these little flowers, and the bees love to come around and go towards the flowers, and I just kept it so it helped with the pollination of my fruit trees. So I've just got one little rosemary right here, and what I love rosemary for, of course, being an Aussie, is with my lamb dishes. So nice to put on top of your lamb or under the skin. So that's what I have going to put in the corner of my pot over here, if you can see. So let me just do that really quick. more things that I have bought to plant up on this little patio of ours. I'll stop the video and I'll restart it and show you what else I'm going to do. Alright, be back in a second. Okay, I just wanted to show you guys that I have another one of these little garden boxes right here. I have put it low down onto the ground to be protected by this bamboo that I have here. And I was thinking about what I wanted to plant this year, because I don't have a lot of space. I didn't want to plant stuff that I wasn't really going to use. So we eat, or well I especially eat a lot of salads, and one of my favourite salads is a chicken Caesar salad. And in Australia, when we do a chicken Caesar salad, we have romaine lettuce. So I've decided to put in this garden box along here a roll of romaine lettuce, and normally I would have a salad mix with, you know, all different lettuces, but this one here I decided to plant just up some romaine lettuce for my Caesar salad. In my Caesar salad I do romaine lettuce, which is one of the best. I do some cooked up chicken, I do some bacon pieces, I do grated Parmesan cheese, I do a hard-boiled egg and some croutons. My family love this salad, and so I love to make it, and I thought, well, if I'm going to get the most out of any lettuces this year, I think I'll do the romaine. So let me just quickly plant the romaine lettuce up here. So this is what I've got here, and we grow these. If you see the little tag up here, that's Sunshine Greenhouses where I work, and this is their well, I work for McCord's, but Sunshine is the wholesale section, and so this is their little logo. And we plant these lettuces up in our massive greenhouses that we have here at the nursery, or at the nursery I should say. So let me just put that there. I'm just going to put these down here and I'll show you these in a minute. So I might actually have to add a little bit more soil to start with. There wasn't enough put in here. So I'll just add a little bit more right there. And I'm just going to plant up some of these romaine lettuces real quick. I've got 6 of them. So just space them evenly out in my little box. I always try and give my seedlings a little bit of a water to start with. Just helps them come out of the little pockets easier, so you don't damage any of the roots. Every morning I have a, and I would normally plant this, but we sold out really quick at the garden nursery, but I would normally have baby spinach. Every morning I make myself a banana smoothie, and I use baby spinach for that when I do that. So when we lived on the farm, I grew a lot of baby spinach and even silver beet, because I used to juice a lot as well. So let me just add a little bit more into here, around the lettuces. So if you want to know that my daily one, and I probably make this one the most out of any, I do some berry smoothies and stuff like that, but the one that I actually do the most, oh, a bit of a cramp, this old lady, I have to get on my knees I think. So I've got 2 more to go. So I was talking about my smoothie. So when I make my smoothie, I do baby spinach, because baby spinach doesn't have a lot of paste. So I do my baby spinach, I do a frozen organic banana, and my spinach is also organic. And then I do some cacao powder, and I do some form of nut butter. And then I use my almond milk for the liquid base of it. So let's get this little roll of darling lettuces. Just add a little bit more soil around each side of it. We'll give these a good water in after, so you don't have to watch me do that. And in a couple of weeks I'll come and I'll show you how they are. Hopefully they'll do alright, and we don't have any cold snaps here in Utah. We're known for pretty much that. So but we always say after Mother's Day. But last year after Mother's Day we had a really bad cold snap, and a lot of people lost their tomato plants. So hopefully we can not have that at the moment. Okay, so there is my row of romaine lettuces. Turn it to the side, you can see them a little bit better. Wow, look at those little beautiful things. Okay, the next thing I have, and I only have 2 of them. Now I'm not sure, I think I might, so this pot here, I have just a few perennials that are just ones that just drape over. But I also have this yellow rose. I can't remember the name of it. I bought it the first year I was here. But this year it struggled quite a lot. And I've been trying to prune it back and save it. And then we had another little frost and I've burnt the leaves. So I've just been trying to protect this little thing. He seems like he's doing okay here, but he seems to be coming all one side because some of the parts had dried off and died. Like this one here, I'll probably have to prune this one back soon. But at the back here I've got some spot. As you can see, I've got, if I can lift you up a little bit and just show you. Okay, so like I said, you can see the lettuces right there. And also right here, I'll turn you around and if I can grab it, is I am going to grow a sun sugar tomato. These little yellow ones. And I've just only got one in its cage right there. So that's what I've planted in this pot here. Last year I had sweet 100s, and I don't know if you guys, oops, sorry. Oh, I suddenly dropped you again. Last year I had sweet 100s, and they did really well. I had a whole bunch of them, and I'd come out and pick them in the mornings when I sat down and had a hot drink. And but you know, I found that your red tomatoes have a lot of lectin in them, and lectin can be upsetting to the stomach and your microbiome. So I just kind of decided I'd plant some yellow ones this year because they're not as harsh. So I'm going to grow the sun sugar ones. But like I said, so down here is my romaine lettuce, and here is my rose, and you can see he's struggling a little bit. And over here I replanted that lavender. Remember I was telling you that lavender have a hard time sometimes of being repotted, but look at this guy. He's quite happy. He's got all brand new leaves. So I'm just going to leave him there and see how he does. I love lavender. I spray lavender on my pillow every night to help me sleep because I do have a little bit of insomnia when it comes to my fibromyalgia. So what I thought I'd do right here, sorry if I'm making you sick, in these little parts at the back right there, I'm going to plant 2 of these Fort Laramie strawberry plants. And why I chose Fort Laramie, because we have a whole bunch of different ones, is Fort Laramie is a really good ever-bearing strawberry, and so it'll give me lots of fruit throughout the season. It's just a medium-sized strawberry, and I just thought it would do really good. It's a little bit more hardy than some of the others. So I thought I'm going to plant these 2, one right there and one at the back on the other side right here. And they'll probably just drape over, you know, and be a bit protected by my little sign that I love at the back there. Now I did keep one of the garden boxes, as you can see on this end here, and last year I didn't plant a lot of things that I could eat. I planted a lot of flowers. So this year I thought I'd leave that little garden box right there and plant it up with marigolds. That's my husband's favourite plant, and marigolds are also brilliant on helping keep the bugs and insects and stuff off your vegetables and stuff like that. So they are a great companion plant. So that little box a little later on when I go back to work at the end of the week, I just come off a 3-day shift over Mother's Day. It was exhausting. I worked 9 hours a day on my feet, and not working for the last 3 weeks, it was quite a struggle. So today, Mother's Day, my husband and I went for a little walk, and he come back and filled up my pots for me. And I thought this afternoon my family is coming over to spend Mother's Day with me. So since I don't go back until Thursday, I can get a bit of rest. So when I do go back, I'll get some marigold plants and put them in there for my hubby, and some protection for my vegetables this year. So I'm just going to plant up the strawberries in that little pot there, and then I'll come back and show you the finished result on all of them. Okay, the sun has come out pretty full this afternoon. I had some things that I had to do but after I talked with you earlier, I actually watered everything in. So if we come over here, you can see the strawberries there and there, and how the sun gets it. And it's kind of nice to have that bamboo up, like I said, because it kind of protects them as well. Down here I have lettuce. My lettuce over here. Oh, what's this little treat? One of the neighbours' kids have thrown a little ball. Look, roll it down. Oh, I've got to show you what my daughter's been doing to keep the neighbour kids happy. She had them out there today with chalk on the path. How pretty is that? Oh, look. I can do it closer. She's been keeping them happy since we're all locked up in this time. So we'll come back here. I posted some photos of the beautiful tree with all the blossoms on it. How gorgeous is that? I can smell it so well. And then down here, so there's my lettuce. I found this other pot that I had there, and I've left it there, and I might get a chili or a pepper and put in it, but the pot might be a little bit small, so I might have to change that over, but I haven't got that yet. I'll probably get that when I pick up the marigolds. There's one of my sun sugar tomato vines. And as we come along here, how pretty do my little herbs look? My thyme, my parsley, my sage, my coriander, my oregano, and over here, my thyme. So I've just been sitting out in the sun here on my little chair, and I definitely didn't need the blanket. Oh, it's been so hot. The sun is really coming through, and I also repotted a houseplant that's been struggling, so I thought I'd just put it out here and I bring it in each night. So hanging up there is a little houseplant. So there's my little garden. I will take some more videos in a couple of weeks and let you see how it's growing. I was sitting on there, on the end here, having a little cuppa. So be blessed, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye. Hello everyone, this is Jenny from Cricklewood Crossing, and I wanted to make this little video because I have had people ask me where I've been and they haven't seen me produce any videos lately. So I just wanted to give a little overhaul really quick to let you know what's going on with me in my life and within my little business and with my stitching. If you are not really interested in to hear everything, then I don't mind. If you skip forward or if you just turn off altogether. But for those that do follow me, I'm very grateful that you have joined back with me, and if you're new, welcome to my little channel and part of my life. Lately I've just been doing little kind of vlog style videos because I just haven't been able to kind of concentrate or really put some time and effort into doing some stitching. I have been working on some of my mystery boxes for those that had purchased the patriotic one, and since the virus, like the pandemic has come along, it's been taking longer for me to get supplies, and also some other things have happened in my life that there was a little bit of a struggle with, and I'll tell you that a little bit later. But I had been posting some videos beforehand of my little patio that I had been planting up with some herbs and some vegetables, and I'd sat out here after with my little favourite drink here, and I thought I'd sit out here and just make this little quick video for you guys. But as I was sitting out here, it got so warm. Oh my gosh, I was dying. And there's my husband inside freezing in the air conditioner, and I'm out here. I had to get an umbrella so I didn't burn. I was literally getting my arms on my arms. I was burning up, so I grabbed this umbrella and thought I would just make this little video for you. Well, I am always very grateful that you can join with me and spend some time with me, my little YouTube friends and people who care about me, and I have received some beautiful messages and some cards, and I really want to let those people know that I am very grateful that you are thinking about me, and I really appreciate the friendship that we have through stitching. Now, I just showed you my little garden, and they are loving the sun right now. They're all along there, and so as you can see, the flag's behind me and my clematis is behind me. But I just wanted to take this little bit of time to tell you what's going on in my life. Those that have known me, that back in October my mother passed away, and so that was a difficult time for me. It's Mother's Day today, so I know a lot of us, you know, we post our lives on Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff, but sometimes I'm not that type of person. I'm kind of very personal, but there's just some things that I don't talk about, or some things I might think, you know, I want to let everyone know, you know, things about that. And so when my mother passed away, I never, you know, a lot of my family members posted about our mother or their grandmother. I just couldn't do that. I just had a hard time. I was dealing with it, being over here by myself when I found out the news about my mother's death. And so I was struggling a little bit with that. And so when we went back for the funeral, it was a tough trip, a tough time. I stayed there 8 weeks with my father, trying to get everything organised in his life, because my mum was in charge of the bills and things like that. So I organised all of his debts to come out of his bank account automatically. I organised people to come in and help him in his home. He's 94 and he's still in his own home. And so I spent a lot of time doing that, and at night I would lay in the bed and have my silent cry by myself while he slept in his room. And it was just a tough time being by myself, because the rest of my family had already come back to America. And so it actually, even though it was tough, it actually was a strong growing period for me as well. I realised how much I could handle and how grateful I was for those that really cared about me. And so that was a tough time back in October. So when I came home, I walked into our house, and it was just kind of like a relief. I just kind of sighed, and I sat on the kitchen floor and was crying. It was just a relief, that's all. And so it was still tough, because I was calling my dad twice a week and just talking to him. It was really nice to talk to him and stuff like that. And then when was that? We had Christmas, and then at the end of December, my son had his high school love come out to visit us. And she came out here until like February the 4th. And it was funny, because we never knew until 3 weeks later that they had gone to Las Vegas and got married. And everyone said to me, "Oh, weren't you so angry or upset?" But my husband and I are a military family, and we have had such separations in our own lives and stuff, and we've always told our kids, you know, they're adult kids, they can make their own decisions, and we just said to them, you know, whatever you want to do, you know, you go ahead and do it. Just all we care about is respect and love. And that's and so 3 weeks later, after they had been married, we had found out, and they're going to have a little get together later. But at the moment it's really tough for them, because she's an Australian and he's out here, and she had gone back to get things organised to come back out here to live with us, or live with him as well. And then the border's closed and they can't travel, so she can't travel. And just the other day, I heard when I was talking to her that she had burnt at her job. She was picking up a saucepan that she didn't realise had been over a flame, and she got 3rd-degree burns on her hand. So poor Caitlin, our love goes out to you, and we're thinking about you every day, sweetheart, and can't wait for you to join back with us and back with Keenan. So that happened in February, and then of course the pandemic hit, and I was working at my garden nursery, and I was just potting up our bare root roses like we do, and our shrubs, and I breathed in some of the potting mix, and it really got onto my lungs really bad, and I had trouble breathing. And as you know, I went to the hospital and scared the staff, because they thought I had the virus, but had the test, but no, it wasn't. It was the potting mix on my lungs. So for the last 3 weeks I've been off work and not being able to breathe properly, which is quite scary, especially when, you know, this virus affects the lungs. And so I've been really nervous. I haven't left the house very much at all, and if I had gone anywhere, I had made these masks, and so it was just a scary time for me as well. And so just and then just, you know, around that time, at the same time, I get a phone call from my niece to say that my sister had passed away. And so she's the oldest one, and I had posted videos on my Instagram before about my sister Sue, who had frontal lobe dementia. She was getting there, but she wasn't really bad, and she had recognised me when I went back to Mum's funeral, and it was a beautiful reunion for us. And so I feel like that was our ending, not ending, because it would never be an ending, but it was kind of the thing that I had with her before she had passed away, because she died 2 weeks ago, and she died from choking. I guess dementia patients sometimes store food in their cheeks, like little chipmunks, and they didn't realise when they were feeding her that she had stored so much, and she choked and they couldn't revive her. So we had lost my sister just 2 weeks ago, and I couldn't go back. I couldn't go back for the funeral, so that was a tough time as well. So this pandemic is affecting a lot of families and hurting a lot of people's lives. People are losing their lives and people are losing loved ones. So my heart goes out to you. So there it was, some time to reflect again. They had produced a Zoom funeral, so I got to see the funeral. Not the same, and I would have loved to have been there for her family, but I did what I could to let them know how much I love them and that I was there for them if they ever need me. And it was tough for me because of course it's their mother, but it's my sister too. So then there was my poor dad at home in his home, most of the time by himself, watching TV, just lost his wife, just lost one of his daughters, and panicking about his other daughter over here in America, where, you know, the news posts how bad and how many deaths we've had here in America. So he's panicking, knowing that I have problems with my lungs and can't breathe. And so here he is, worried that he's going to lose another daughter. So my poor dad has had a tough time as well. I've been calling him still twice a week just to talk to him. I called him quite a few, nearly every day after my sister died. And so then 2 nights ago, I get a message from my niece saying that my dad is now in hospital. He had a high fever and he was having trouble breathing, but there is not one case of the COVID-19 in our town, and so they just think it was just a lot of stress and everything that he'd been under. He's still in hospital at the moment, and I'm worried about him. I just keep on saying to him when I talk to him, please keep safe, Dad, because I want to come and see you next year, and I want you to be well, and that we can be together. And so, you know, he's that type of man that he's very positive, very, very loving and very caring, and he just keeps on saying, I'm going to be well, Jenny, I'm going to be here, so you can come back and see me. So just waiting for the times of this crisis to ease up. Our lives will never be the same. We'll remember this for the rest of our lives, and our children will, and maybe our grandchildren even too. So it's just been a tough couple of 6 months, and so stitching's been tough for me to even do. So basically all I've been working on is I've gotten some needle minders out, and I'm so grateful for all those that have helped me and purchased some of my products in my little Etsy store, which is under Cricklewood Crossing, if you ever want to go and have a look at it. And I'm very grateful for those that purchased a whole bunch of my needle minders when I posted them in my shop. And then also I've been working, like I said, on these boxes, and I'm hoping if any of those who normally follow me or watch me or order my boxes, you'll be getting them this week. I am sorry it's taken so long with the longer shipping, just the stress that's been in my life, and the things with my family and even my own health. So just look forward to it. You'll see the boxes by the end of the week, this coming week I should say, because it's Sunday today. And so this moving forward from here, I just plan on doing some designing cross stitch, making more bags, putting some more things in my little Etsy shop. I've had some fun times when I've been home just to be able to, you know, design some little things, and so I'm looking forward to them coming out. And so I just wanted to let you know what was going on, and that I love watching or following all those that I follow on their YouTube channels,
their Flosstube channels, I should say. I'm grateful for the people that have been following me and messaging me and seeing how I was doing. It's so much appreciated from the heart, honestly. And also, I just want to let you know that I went back to work this week at the garden nursery just for 3 days because it was Mother's Day weekend. It was, oh my gosh, it was crazy. I spent like 9 hours, for 2 days, the Friday and the Saturday, I spent 9 hours on my feet serving people. They made so much money, everyone, because of the virus, have been home in their gardens, and just, we have sold so many tomato bushes, fruit, and the fruit trees and vegetables and just flowers. Isn't it funny how just your garden or doing some gardening and getting with your dirt under your fingers and Mother Nature, how it can bring such peace? And that's how I felt when we had our organic farm, and I've just carried even if I just carry a little bit of it over into my like my patio here. And if those that follow me inside, I've got like about 30 houseplants inside, so just a little bit of greenery, a little bit of oxygen helps me breathe, and sorry, and just helps me stay focused, I guess. I just love being out amongst nature. My husband and I today, for Mother's Day, he got up, he had got me some breakfast in bed, and then we got up and we went for a little 3-mile walk around some little, we like walking around little neighbourhoods and seeing people's gardens and see what they do. So we went through a 3-hour walk, then we come back, and I've been speaking to my niece in Australia, and we had some lunch, and my husband put the dirt in here so I could plant my little things that I planted. And now I'm just waiting for some time to pass so my boys and his partner could come over so we can have a Mother's Day dinner together. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm just grateful for my little family, and I'm just thinking about all of you guys, and I hope that you're all keeping well and safe, and I wish you all a happy Mother's Day. Be safe well, everyone. Bye.